What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for Rebels with a Cause on our new night, and it's going to be permanent for a while because basketball season is right around the corner. Yes, can you believe it, guys? We are at the end of October, Halloween next week. You know, the last couple of seasons of the regular season of football, it just goes by so fast. You wait for it, and here we are, here at the end of the week 10, starting a lot of big games, a lot of region matchups. We're going to talk about it. Our Rebels, region play, going into the Devil's Den to play halls. We're going to talk about that. But we got to also talk about that big win Thursday night over one of the best teams in the area, in the state, especially in their classification 4A, Anderson County. That was a grown man win by the Rebels. It was definitely a lot of cojones showed. When you're up and then you get punched in the face and give up 27 unanswered points. You're at home, it's senior night, and you decide, hey, we ain't done yet, and you score 13 unanswered right back at them and ultimately win the game. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, and I'm excited for that group of guys. And if you haven't checked out some of the post-game comments from those players, definitely check them out on the website. They're on our YouTube channel, and we'll have more that we've been uploading. I've been busy with work and so forth, but that's just how everything is going right now and so forth. But it's an exciting time of year. A lot of college football to talk about. Big win for the Vols over Alabama. Playing with fire, man. 3 games in a row, not scoring any points in the first half, and luckily for you, you've only lost one of those games, and it was the game that you didn't think you would lose. But that's what happens, in this crazy season of football. But Tennessee not out of it, but still got a big one against Georgia. All these games are going to be big, but they've got to have faster starts, especially if they're on the road against specific teams like a Georgia, even a Mississippi State. So we'll talk about that too. But big win for the Vols, and it's really amazing what Josh Heupel has done in a couple of years now at the program, where it seemed like we could never beat Florida and Alabama in the same season, and now he has done it 2 times out of the last 3 years. Let that sink in, guys. So it's been a long time since Tennessee's beaten Florida and Alabama in 2 out of the last 3 years and so forth, from what I can recollect, because they had streaks on us that felt like never ending during those dark years of the program, and of a merry-go-round of coaches that shouldn't have been coaches at this program. But we'll talk about that. Well, lot to talk about tonight, but got some housekeeping business that I want to get to first. First and foremost, the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. These are solely the RWAC crew, myself, the Italian Stallion, two-pair Tate, Brian Tate, and the coach, stats man himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee. So keep that in mind when you're watching this show. Also want to give some love out to a couple of our sponsors. Knoxville Coffee Company, Mr. Alex Thatcher, a class of 2003 grad from West High School. Go check out his coffee shop there off of Sutherland Avenue in the heart of Marble City. That brew is good any time of the day. Him and his daddy make it with a lot of love, so show them a lot of love, and go get you a bag, and you won't be disappointed. I promise you that. Also, need to give a shout out to my gals, Kim Castle and Rachel Davis over at King's Chamber. You definitely got to get them looked at. Today I had a manicure, and you'll definitely see that picture on my Facebook page. I had a pedicure last 2 Saturdays ago. It was absolutely phenomenal. They even have now a massage chair. So it's just getting better and better, more things. So definitely check them out. You won't be disappointed. They take care of your hair, whatever you want, shaves, razor, or whether it's just with the blade. The regular shoulder massages, the waxes, definitely go pay them a visit, and always entertaining and very therapeutic. It is the true royal treatment for us kings, and we deserve that with all the stuff that we put up with on a daily basis, and you can take that any other way you want to look at it. But that being said, it is Rebels with a Cause. It's our new night, 9 o'clock, and remember, that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. So just keep that in mind more than anything. But lots to talk about. Want to get to it tonight by first bringing on one of my co-hosts. As you know, he is one of our beloved friends, class of 2003, former West Rebel. And I will say this about him: got so much love and heart for his kids, and just very passionate about everything he does. And if you need an electrician, I'm going to give him the floor. So just in case he needs to do some freelance work, you definitely give him a call. He is our stats guy. He pulls up everything that we need to talk about. And he's also been nicknamed by our very own quarterback, Parker Dubon, as the coach. And he's got a big one tomorrow night to coach, no pun intended, as his middle school team has a big playoff game against Austin East. But I'll let him talk all about it as I bring him on. Everybody, wherever you're at, whether you're listening live or recorded, wherever, Marble City, Westmoreland Hills, Rocky Hill, Bearden Elementary, Western Avenue, Lonsdale, Sequoia, wherever. Make it loud, make it proud, show him some love. He is our coach, our stats guy, the one, the only, Shane O'Mac, Mr. Shane McGee. Let's give it up, baby.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up? Thank you for the high words. Had wipe the tears away because my middle daughter, my senior, sent me some videos tonight that got dad a little emotional, but I love that my kids love me. So that's all that matters to me. As long as I'm doing what I can for them, life is good.
Can I ask you something? Shane, like you just brought up something. I mentioned that we're in week 10 of the high school football season, and it's just crazy. It felt like just yesterday we were getting ready for school to start. We were doing our live game day show from Bearden High School. But here you have a daughter that is now kind of entering that second part of that first semester, fall semester. I mean, what's that like, man? It's just going by fast. I mean, it's almost November, for goodness sakes.
It goes by so fast. And unfortunately, I didn't get to experience it with my oldest daughter because school just didn't work out for a lot of stuff that she had to go through. So she ended up having to drop out junior year. So I'm getting to experience it all right now. And it's crazy to me because I can remember this little ball. Like she was born preemie and I was in the NICU with her. Now I'm looking at her. She's 5'6", 145 pounds, and about to walk out the door here in a couple months. I'm like, where is the time going? Like, it just flies by so quick.
It does.
And I look at her brother. I'm like, dang, he's 11. And I'm like, remembering, everything still feels like yesterday with all of them. And it's crazy. Like, I got my oldest one got her car today. I'm proud of her for that. And, this one's about to go off to college. And then my other one's about to start hitting the weight room. I'm like, man, so parents, enjoy it. If you're a young parent, enjoy the time. It goes by quick.
It does.
Because, I mean, like I said, I remember first days of school. I remember every single thing with my kids. And the next thing I know, they're about to head out the door. It goes by quick. Cherish that time. If you aren't involved, like there's people who aren't, be involved. Your kids will thank you a million times. They'd rather you be there and be involved in what you pay for. So
yeah, no, and it's true. And you want to know something? Speaking of that, we've commented on it thousands of times before on this show. It feels like, but I think that the West parents are some of the best parents in terms of how they support this football team, the noise that they make. Funny enough story. Do you know that the refs for the game for Anderson County West actually made an announcement for the press box to make an announcement to not make artificial noise? I mean, can you imagine? It was too loud. I mean, and that was a ref's call or what have you. And I don't know where the refs were from. If you read the coach team message boards, I think West got every call that was possible, to be honest with you. And I don't even think that that's true. But truth be told, it's hilarious that there were bad calls on both ways. But truth be told, no disrespect to Anderson County, they were a very undisciplined football team. I mean, they were making personal foul calls, hitting the quarterback late, and we took advantage of it. And for once, West was not the most penalized team, and that was very, very crucial to why West jumped out to the 17-0 lead, just to
A
kind of,
lot.
reiterate things.
Speak on officials. Last week, last Thursday, while West was taking on Anderson County, we had a crew. I mean, these crews were the same normal crews that work high school games. Never in my years of playing football or coaching football, so we're talking, dang, 33 years of my life, I've never in that time frame seen the chains on the home side ran by the home side.
Really? Really? Okay.
They're supposed to be on the opposite side, so you can't
Yes.
coach, they can't do anything. They were on the AE side the whole game.
Really?
I was really watching penalties be called and the chain crew start moving before the flag was even like they get a first down, but it'd be a flag. So the chain crew would move. The refs weren't marking where the play was at, and we're getting screwed out of positions. Like, you flip the field after quarters and stuff. We'll sometimes flip it at the quarter, we'll flip at the half, just depending on the officials. We crossed the 50 at the end of one of the quarters. I think it was third quarter. They flipped the field. They left us on our 46, flipped the field, but we lost all that yardage. So we've gone on the opposite 46 and lost all that yardage we just got.
Wow.
So I've already been warned to watch my mouth tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there's a lot of F-bombs from our staff.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Lamar, Coach Brown usually stays composed, but there was such a bad call made where they called a late hit, and it felt like it was just a normal football play by Abel Ancelot, and they actually called a late hit out of bounds. And I mean, he was still in bounds when he made the hit, and these refs are making some judgment calls, and it's like you might be determining extending drives with that stuff. So
they gave the opposing team in my game a touchdown. The kid went down at the 2. Clock expired. He was down, knee down at the 2. He then extends afterwards, crosses the goal line.
Oh, wow.
This is one, he was down by contact. He was down to 2. If he wasn't down by contact, this isn't the NFL to where you're not dead. College, it's obviously dead. High school, it's dead. Middle school, it's dead because we play by TSSAA rules. The ref was at the 35-yard line and called a touchdown.
Wow.
Me and another coach, we made it past the numbers yelling. He was down. Parents were getting rowdy. That was probably some of the worst officiating I've experienced in a long time since I've left Tarleton.
I've always wondered about that. How can an official make a call when he's that far back? Because it's happened a lot during even Wes's games where some officials are calling either holding or something from a weird angle, and it's like, was there even anything going on over there on that side and so forth? And they've even huddled up. I talked about some of the really bad calls. Not that it really determined the outcome again, the Alcoa game, but there were some calls during that game. And that's why I remember during basketball season, I had asked Two-Pair, I said, some of this basketball officiating is terrible. What's a foul?
I know that we are low on officials.
Yeah.
You're going to bring new guys in. You got to get them coached up to understand these rules, and they got to understand them quick. Because I've had the same issue on Saturday with my son's last game. So 6th grade plays on Saturday, 7th and 8th graders play on Thursday.
What's up, Larry Frank? Thank you for the love, brother. Thank you for the love.
And same issue. Chains on the home side, and it's all the same coaches. We're all out there. The head ref looked over at our sideline. It was like, y'all can meet me in the parking lot afterwards. Like, dude, you're supposed to be holding all of us.
Wow.
It took me back to this has been years ago. There was a bowl game back when youth football did bowl games. On the weekends for fundraisers, and a ref pulled a knife on either a coach or a parent in the parking lot.
Took it that seriously. I mean, my
Yeah,
goodness.
and
Like,
he looked over at us and was like, "Y'all can meet me in the parking lot afterwards." I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like,
yeah.
it's like I'm mad, but I ain't trying to like go to jail mad.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the one thing. I've not been to a middle school game in a long time, and I guess it's getting late to catch one this season. I'll definitely try to make.
Come on, catch one tomorrow. Come on, catch one tomorrow. We'll be at
I'll
8.
try. Yeah, I'll try. Hey, you know, it's been so difficult with my work schedule, being working 9 to 8 with all these storms and everything, and the damage has just been endless. I mean, and I really feel for those people, especially now that it's getting cold outside and everything. It's just one of those things that I really feel for these people that are displaced from homes and so forth.
Yeah,
But
I got thrown in at linebacker coach tonight. Normally I do special teams for the 7th and 8th grade.
uh-huh.
Like, Shay, we need you linebacker coach. So I was like, gotcha, let's go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, but yeah, but I know it's wrapping up. I mean, I know it's wrapping down, and we've got your season's wrapping up, and now you've got these games coming up that are huge this week. I mean, you've got Maryville Alcoa, you've got West versus Halls, you've got Powell steps out of region play and goes and plays McMinn County. McMinn County's actually in play to try to win Region 4 at this point. They're in the running with Walker Valley for that. So it's just kind of intriguing, these matchups. I mean,
If what I'm seeing is correct, also speak about this week's games. Alcoa having 2 games this week.
yes, yeah. I think Alcoa has 2 games.
I'm not sure what district Union County's in.
They're I believe they're a 4A school. They're a
Are they
4A
3
school.
or are they 4A?
They're 4A, I believe. So I think they're 4A. I believe they are. So, but yeah, but there was a makeup game because Alcoa's only played 6 games this year. Like everybody else is like on game 8. And I know that they've had difficulty filling their schedule. Last year they had a team from New York came. I guess Alcoa didn't want to make that return trip and couldn't really find anybody to take that slot. So basically that was a bye week for them, where last year it was against the team from New York, Binghamton, that they beat. So, but Maryville's played 8 games and Alcoa's played 6 games. So you see 5-1 versus 8-0, and it's the Battle of Pistol Creek, and I believe the game is at Maryville this year, if I'm not mistaken. It's Maryville Senior Day, and that's just going to be a hell of an atmosphere. Russell Bivin and that crew is going to have that game of the week. So on the Friday night.
The Union County's got 2 region games. They're playing Alcoa. Alcoa is Monday, and Austin East is Friday.
Yeah, then that makes sense because they're all in the same region. So actually, Union County, I guess, is a 3A school or whatever now. So there we go. So okay,
we'll get to the new alignment going into next.
Oh my God! So yeah, so that's part of the big news. It broke today. Alcoa's moving up to 4A, and if you heard that sound, it was a bunch of teams that felt that they were nice and cozy in 4A, at least on this side of the state, and maybe even on the other side of the state. And things are about to get real. And I am already going to make a prediction right now, and I could be wrong. But you have the opportunity to play up. You can't play down. And if you don't feel like you can compete like poor Howard, who is represented by our friend of the show, Ryan Perry, they are going to be moving up to 6A. They can't even compete in 5A right now. And so realistically, they're going to be going as an independent. And so, you're going to have some teams that are going to be making the move. And I just think with Alcoa making the move, I will not be surprised to see a Greenville or even an Anderson County jump up to 5A. I will not be shocked with that.
I personally never thought Alcoa would make the jump. We talked about this for years.
Yes.
Especially back when Fulton was good.
Yeah.
Like there's always they're never gonna make the jump. They're gonna keep running like they do.
Yeah.
And to see them move up, I like it.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I'm really curious how they'll do in 4A, and are we talking about in a couple more years they can make it to either 5 or 6A?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is a lot of it falls on the enrollment numbers. And the thing I wanted to ask you, Shane, is that these enrollment numbers. Can I just be fair? Because and here's where I'm going to be careful with what I say, because you had a daughter that played football with the boys and so forth like that. So here's the deal. The thing is most schools don't have a girl on their football team. So my question is this: would it be more fair that the enrollment be based on how many boys are in your school as opposed to the overall? Do you see what I'm saying there? If
I
that
get
makes
what
sense.
you're saying, but
Yeah.
I still think it comes down to a 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So, yeah, no problem. But yeah, I mean, that's just something in the chat box. I hope that if anybody's watching, definitely throw your opinion out there. I mean, I was just kind of looking at it that I'm fine with where West is at. If West wants to stay in 5A, great. If West ever wanted to go up to 6A, go for it. See where you fall. Against the big boys. I mean, West is already playing 3 teams from 6A on their schedule. So, I mean, I look at that from a standpoint that realistically, these teams can do whatever they want schedule wise. It's more about the playoffs and who you're going to go up against. And Alcoa has scheduled the Beardens, the Wests, Maryville, obviously. It gets them ready and it makes their opponents in 3A not very challenging, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Now they're moving up to 4A and they will have a challenge from maybe a Gibbs or an Anderson County or a Greenville, which they've already taken care of Greenville. So I'm just kind of at this point very, very intrigued by what these other teams are going to do. Now, if you're a 3A school, the Loudons and the Gatlinburg Pittmans, they're cheering to the heavens because they've had some good teams these last few years, and it was always ending either in round 3 or round 4 against Alcoa, pretty much. I mean, that's what it was. It was pretty much like, thanks for having a nice season. It's done against Alcoa. So I say that from a standpoint that I just feel that it's going to be very intriguing that how the dominoes fall with this, and I think my guy Two Pair is ready to come on. He had a little bit of we had a little bit of a snafu. We thought that we were going to do 9 o'clock this evening, but he thought 9:30. But we'll get it worked out. Things are changing as we now adapt with this Wednesday schedule and basketball seasons games Tuesday and Friday now entering the fold. So please forgive us. Our Rebels with a Cause family and so forth. But Two Pair, are you good to go, bud?
Hey, give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right, no problem. So, all right, let me see here. I'm going to give him this proper introduction to get him on. Um, you know him. You know him as the voice of the Runnin' Rebels and the Lady Rebels, but you are going to be knowing him as the voice of the Pellissippi State Panthers come this fall. He is our 2003 Mr. West. He is the hardest working guy in the business. He has so much passion and love for West High School. He has so much energy and really calls those games with so much passion. And him and me have a little bit of a friendly business on Saturday. And let me tell you something. It's a rivalry game. It's Miami versus Florida State. It doesn't matter. You throw the records out. It's going to be a war, 7 o'clock Saturday night on ESPN and so forth. But we'll love each other as soon as the game is over and so forth like that. But he's got some love for the U. I know he does. And there's some Florida State players that at times I always kind of looked and said, man, they would have looked damn good in orange and green. But that being said, I want to bring him on because I know he's got a lot to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about that Anderson County big win, preview the Halls game, talk about UT Alabama, and also this news about Alcoa jumping up to 4A and how these dominoes are going to fall with other teams. So without further ado, you please give him the respect that he deserves. Honor him, whether you're watching it live or recorded. The one, the only, Two Pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Doing good.
Sorry for the snafu, man. I thought I had said 9 o'clock, but if it would have been, if it was 9:30, that's my bad on that one. Brother.
Well, no, it's always going at 9:30.
Yeah, we do. So shoot, that's my bad. So
I was like, oh man, we're on right now.
Yeah, no, but we're good. No, we've really just kind of been talking about just how it's so crazy to think we're in week 10 already when we were just yesterday doing a live show from Catholic and Bearden High School right when the season was starting, and now we're at the end of October.
Yeah.
Halloween's next week. It's playoff time practically. These 2 weeks and the games that are going to be played on this stage, determining region championships, determining seeding in the playoffs, whether you travel, whether you even get in. I'm telling you, there's some serious business these next 2 weeks, man.
It is.
Your thoughts?
It really is, man. It's like some serious business. When you look at the way the Anderson County game was, like that felt like a playoff type atmosphere, felt like a playoff game. And it's going to be a little bit different now that you have Alcoa making that move to what, 4A now?
Yes, I mean that was the news of. I mean, and let me ask you this too, Bert. Remember when we did one of our first couple of shows, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, which we're going to celebrate it big in December when we do that. But remember when we read that article about what Tom Krieger said of the Tennessee, and he said why Alcoa should move up to 4A. Were they bullied to make this move, or what do you think, Bud? I mean, because truth be told, I was just telling Shane, they've only played 6 games this year. They have a hard time filling in their schedule and so forth. Let me bring him back on too, since he's good to go. So I'm just saying that I just want like your thoughts on, were they bullied? Did they make this on their own? What do you think, brother?
I mean, I think it could be a little bit of it could be a little bit of both. I think it was a necessary decision that they needed to make in order to get their program where it needs to be. They have a standard with that program of being a dominant football, basketball type programs. They've been very successful, winning state titles. They've got a community that supports everything they do and every movement that comes up in Alcoa. And I think it can be said it's a little bit of both. It could be a little bit of bullying and the right decision of going up because of the scheduling. Like, how many games have they played this year?
They've only played 6 now. Shane's saying they have to make up the Union County game because that was messed up with the hurricane and the weather and so forth like that.
Yeah,
so they've got a game next week against
Monday.
Union County. But they have a hard time filling the other schedule games and so forth like that. Nobody wants to play them. And then the out-of-state teams, they won't return. I mean, that's far to go for New York. I think that team from New York that came down here that they beat, they travel to play teams. You know what I mean? And so forth. Some schools are just like that. And Alcoa that would be too far for them to go. But they couldn't even find a school in Kentucky or North Carolina that wanted any of them. That's the truth.
I think that comes down to just how dominant they've been over the years, and just they're pumping out some D1 kids left and right. So
yeah. I mean, I listen, the records are nice and everything like that, but how would you feel that you had a 10-0 record playing cupcakes and then you lose in that first round of the playoffs? I mean, you want to know that you guys are the best of the best, and iron sharpens iron. I've been saying that for a long time. And realistically, if West takes care of business this week and next week against Powell, 7-3 is nothing to scoff at, especially with who you've lost to, because Bearden is getting it rolling at this point. They're going to finish second behind Maryville. And realistically, I expect Bearden to whip Morristown West this Friday. And then Bearden has who next Friday night? Bradley Central, which I know they're going to really want to.
Yeah, when Bradley Central taking a fall off after they've lost their 2 UT commits, a couple other guys.
And all those fun guys they had. So
I think Bearden made the right move going back to Drew at quarterback. So they're rolling like they should, but now you got the guy who's been leading that team for years.
Yeah. And let him finish what he started.
They need to make a move at quarterback because they just weren't getting what they were supposed to at quarterback. They just weren't getting
especially like you have if we're talking about Beard, like you've had a guy who knows his receivers, knows what he's doing out there, and he's been working all year. I mean, he knows that offense, and he knows what his receivers do. So it's all about that timing, and you can't bring somebody in late in the summer or I'm not sure when a kid got here, but try to build that chemistry with a guy who's literally been the chemist the whole time.
Yeah, but you can't develop chemistry because I noticed when we saw that first game, it just looked like all the times that he was looking for an open receiver, or if they were open, he was running. Like you saw a quarterback just trying to be a dual threat quarterback, not just he was really just trying to make a play.
Yeah.
But see, Drew's a mobile quarterback. Also, we as his coach for years, we used his legs. You got his legs going early to get his arm going later because you had to respect what he does on both sides. I think with the previous quarterback that they were using this year, he only looked to use his legs. So, I mean, the kid was out there putting in work. We saw what he was doing, but I didn't trust his arm because those throws he's throwing for like the 20-yard line. He couldn't hit the back of the end zone.
No.
The accuracy on that quarterback was what we even talked about that and prep that game day episode where we were had he was out there like that showed commitment. But when you start looking at some of these teams, I feel like Maryville is the dominant team.
Maryville also been doing the same. Those kids learn that playbook from day one. When Maryville started to tackle at 4 and 5 years old, and those kids play together the whole time. You occasionally get a kid to come in, kind of how they got Smith's kid.
Lee Smith's son. Yeah.
Yeah. Brody Smith. Yeah, like you bring in a couple pieces here and there if they come into the area or however you do it, but those kids know that playbook from day one when they learn football.
Yeah.
And they just get better and better. I mean, it's the same. Like, my team's philosophy is the same as the high school's philosophy. And, it's you change a few things here and there or how you call something, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, and you see that's where West is at now. West it first started with Cummings doing that, and with DeVere and everything, that those guys knew what they needed to do, and then now with Lamar Brown and his offense and defense is instilled. So those guys know what they need to do once they get there. It's just about weight room and executing. So that's it.
And, just to even talk, I felt like last week maybe first time they played a complete ball game.
Oh yeah, no, let's talk about that, man. I mean, no, let me get that banner up. Hold on, that was a huge.
I wish I'd been able to see that game.
Yeah, no, definitely watch it on Rivalry Thursday because Two-Pair when he was on the field, I was up in the stands doing stats, and I mean it was just an unbelievable game. And Two-Pair, the atmosphere. Forget the fact that it was senior night. I felt like Anderson County brought their whole county for the game. Their side was filled up. There wasn't a parking space to go. I mean, you couldn't park nowhere. You had to park at the intramural fields to get there and so forth. So,
it was a playoff atmosphere. It was. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and shout out to Paul Romero and that video board and highlights of each play as it folded on the field. I really think, for one, that offensive line came to make the plays at the right time. That offensive line and the seniors played phenomenal. They played phenomenal. Parker Dubon, he makes one mistake the entire game.
Yeah.
It kind of could have been costly. It could have been costly.
It was a momentum changer. It was for sure. So.
It was a total momentum changer. And then to have the wherewithal to go back in there and make plays, because that may have been the play that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
If you look at the way we're playing the run game, Messiah Wren is a pure playmaker.
Oh my God, that run he had.
Corey Person made plays.
Yeah.
Patterson made plays.
Cam did too at tight end. Yep.
Burdine. What more to say about Burdine? And then that secondary. The secondary was very key on some big stops. Like I said, Riley Manning. How good is he in the secondary? Antoine Burdine.
Burdine made that big interception. Pork Chop being back there. Antarius McAllister. Pork Chop, they call him. So, yeah.
Fetty, I will say this. Fetty's angry runs set the tone for that game.
Yes.
His angry runs led to Messiah Wren is probably the guy you need to get the ball to a lot more in that situation of the inside zone that they're running or that zone read action that they're going with.
Mm-hmm.
When he's out in the open, it is daylight, it's green, it is pastures. One thing I will say, offensive line really met the players at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were some times where I felt like our defensive line was really setting the tone. That second half, Wyatt DeRoche, Cam Leggett, those guys,
Mm-hmm. That fourth quarter, they took over. It
they
was
took
about
over.
time.
Like Cam Leggett and that squad took over. But the offensive line, like Steven Johnson, like that offensive unit, they moved mountains on that offensive line. Deshaun Battle, they were
Mhm.
moving mountains on that offensive line, man.
And Tooper, isn't it funny that we were actually told by a parent that I mean, if they want us to call them out, they actually said that we're actually not even mean enough on this show. I thought we were kind of being really critical. They said they need to hear that. They needed a fire under them.
I wanna shout out the parent that told me that,
Yeah.
because I get it. Because the thing is, I was telling him is the kids that are playing for West, the kids that are playing for Carnes, the kids that are playing for Austin East, the kids that are playing for Alcoa. I went to school with your parents. So when we discuss the game and what we see, and Shane gives his perspective because he's speaking from a player, a coach, a father. When you're giving your perspective of a statistician, a historian, a guy that has covered the game, like writing and publishing, it's a difference because it's coming from a place of we know what we're saying. We have to be critical on these kids because they get better. Like when I told Jay Mills, I was like, Jay Mills, it's time for you to make a big play. Court
Hmm.
Person, it's time for you to make a big play. A1 Ancelot, it's time for you to make a play. You guys got to make plays. In order,
David Drata, I'm looking at you, brother. I'm
Yeah, I
looking at
mean,
you, man.
now you've got to start coming. Like,
to catch the end zone, he even said it. He said, I was thinking too much.
Hmm.
I had it, and he just got it at the last second. Because that touched it. You think about it, there's a couple of plays in that game, James.
Yeah.
The drop Drada touchdown.
I mean, the thing I teach my receivers is you watch that ball into your hands. You don't think about anything else but that ball into your hands. However it's coming at you, you see the catch and you see yourself secure it. After that, do whatever you got to do. But you see that ball into your hands first. I don't care what else
See,
is going on around.
Yeah.
insecure. But no, we haven't been critical. We should be a little bit more
Hmm.
critical.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like some of the seniors, I feel like some of the seniors, you guys are living off the past accomplishments to where I don't know if you love your Instagram, your YouTube, and showing off that you play for West, but do you play for West?
I like it.
Are you just there to wear the jersey and get the jacket, or are you out there to make a
Are you
difference?
flashing the ring? I mean, let's be real. So yeah.
It's like that's what the parents want us to do. They want us to be critical of their kids, but in a way of show some toughness and tell us why it didn't work.
Hmm.
Because I felt like the game plan that Coach Brown and the staff drew up put the guys in place to make plays.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
Hey,
did.
it's like I said last week. Effort,
Always,
attitude, toughness are the three things that a coach cannot provide on that field. That's on you. If you can't bring those three things to every game, don't even suit up.
That's right.
yeah, and that
Preach.
was the difference in the game. I felt like mentally, that's a game where Parker throws that interception.
Hmm.
It's a pick six. It's at half. Will you tell me the score of when that pick six occurred?
It was 17-7, and there was about 50 seconds left in the second quarter. and they were trying to pick up, maybe try to make a play. Detroit missed his block, and basically the DB jumped the route and was gone to the races. And so it was 17-14 with about 41 seconds when we got the ball back and took a knee going into halftime. So think about it like this: with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, it was 17-0 West. West is in firm control. They get a penalty that extends AC's drive. AC throws a long bomb and gets a touchdown, and then we throw that pick six. So within a matter, of maybe a minute, 20 seconds, it went from 17-0 to 17-14. And you were in firm control. Go ahead.
Firm control. And that's why I was saying a team had that happened, like when we talked about the Alcoa game, from what we watched. When you watch the Alcoa game where they could not make third down conversions, everything we talked about, it seems like the county game, they changed that whole trajectory of that game because
they played 4 quarters finally.
They finally did.
They still let Anderson kind of get back in there. They have to fight back again, but they competed all 4 quarters.
But that interception was really the changer for me, because I said, depending on this interception, depending on Parker Dubon, it's senior night. Are you going to make the necessary adjustments to win this game? Mm-hmm. And they did.
They did.
They did. It was a masterclass for a second, like on how to win a big ball game at home.
2 things we touched on last week's episode. We talked about what have they done with the bye week, and they looked healthier. They looked well prepared. Like you said, Two-Pair, there was a good coaching game plan that was done. They looked ready for this matchup. Okay. Yeah. Now, with the exception of the third quarter that I know they would love to forget, and that final 2 minutes of the second quarter, that was as complete of a ball game they've played all year. And what I'm hoping for is that the momentum carries on to not only the big game this week, but for the remaining weeks that are due. Because I said this, and we talked about it as on our post-game show, and we need to put that clip up on the website. And I'm working my butt off, guys. I apologize. So I feel bad. And I'm putting the wrong interviews up. I'm telling you, it's terrible. So shoot.
True. I said, that's Central's game.
That's 4 weeks ago, James. You're 4 weeks behind. That's what this hurricane's done. It's taken me 4 weeks out of here.
Got that built in the archive of Rebels with a cause. Like, think about it. I don't even know if we even put up the highlights from the Catholic scrimmage.
No.
Scrimmage.
We've got so much stuff that I've got so much stuff to archive, and I'll get to it because there'll be a lull here very shortly and so forth where I can do that, and we can maybe look back on a special season. And that's the other thing too. Parker interviews up there where he even mentioned that they had a players only meeting and they talked, Shane and Two-Pair, about what we're talking about. Are you resting on the laurels of years past? And they were. They admitted that they were, and it showed. But now